welcome to Trudy Talks. I'm so excited that you've decided to join me here on my new channel. Wow, it has been in the works for probably a few years, really. I've talked about doing a YouTube channel, I've talked about all the different things I could do on a YouTube channel, and never really nailed down a topic that really interested me enough to make this channel. So first thing I'll say is that I don't really have anything to say. And that is the honest truth. I have lots of little bits that I could say about lots of little different things. But a lot of the time I just kind of think, I don't have a lot to say about that. I used to have more to say. I used to feel like I had a voice and that I would have something that I could contribute to a lot of things. But I would say over the last 10 years, specifically the last 5, that I stopped having a lot to say. I live a really quiet life, which I love. I talk to the people that I love. And even then, I don't have a great deal of opinion or things to say about anything really. Essentially sad, doesn't it? So why on earth would you start a vlog on a YouTube channel? Makes no sense whatsoever. First thing I'm going to tell you is that I'm going to do this in one take. It's going to be silly, it's going to be weird, it's going to be completely me, and it's what you're going to get. So yeah, Trudy talks, but really she feels like she hasn't got a lot to say, but probably she does have a little bit to say. Where am I now? I am in Illinois in the United States of America. If you are hearing my accent, you will understand that I did not grow up here. I was not born here. I am from Belfast in Northern Ireland. I say Belfast because that's what most people will understand when you say Northern Ireland. And even then, we're fighting over here that a lot of people haven't even heard of Belfast. If I were to say to you that I was born in a little town called IYKYK, and if I was to spell it for you, most of you wouldn't know how to say it. So, so yeah, it's easier to say I'm from Belfast. Plus, Belfast is one of my favorite cities in the world. So I'm always gonna be repping Belfast because it used to be better than it is now. Let's just say that. Let's just say that I'm really happy to not live in Northern Ireland. There are lots of reasons why I am really, really happy to not live in Northern Ireland. And one massive reason why I miss it. I'll tell you the one massive reason first. The one massive reason that I miss it is that my son is there. My 21-year-old lives and studies in Belfast, and I miss him so much on a moment by moment basis. Not even a daily, it's like a moment by moment. But it's been so exciting to watch him live his life and grow and go and do what really we're supposed to do as parents, which is to prepare them to go and live their life, and then just watch as they do that. So we're really proud of him, and I'm excited to see what he does with his life because he is his own person. He has been brought up to understand that he gets to make those choices, that he gets to decide what he thinks, what he believes. And we've also brought him up to be kind to others, and to be kind to himself. So yeah, that's the one big thing I miss about Northern Ireland, and probably the ocean, and obviously other family, but that goes without saying. But that's about it. I'm going to talk really about my thoughts on Northern Ireland as well at some point. The area that I grew up in regards to culture is an area that I wouldn't miss. I don't miss it at all. I don't miss the small-minded. I don't miss the judgment. I don't miss the shame and the people that like to see you fail. And I'm not even kidding you, that it is a thing in Northern Ireland, and you can get up in arms if you like, but I don't have that mentality. My mentality has always been if somebody's doing something and they're getting something and they're creating something, then I'm so excited for them. I want to see what people can do with their lives and how far they can go and what they can create. And that has always been my mentality. But that is not always the norm. And yeah, it sounds like a kind of blanket thing. And I'm okay with that, because all I can talk about is where I've come from. And I have had people in my life who have been cheerleaders and have said, keep going, be who you are, do what you can do, be everything that you want to be in your life. And then I've had people that they don't want to see that for me or anyone, and those people are depressing, to say the very least. That's not the right word, but I'm not going to swear on here. I'd like to but I'm not going to swear on here. Let's just say they're not the kind of people that you'd like in your life. Okay, we're going all right. We're at 5 minutes and I haven't stopped, and I haven't had to cut this video, which is the disaster that I spent yesterday trying to do. I was going to put out a episode today, and it was going to be about things like top tips for emigrating to the United States of America, and at some point I may do that. But I literally bored myself making the video yesterday, and I just said to my husband Gary, I just said, nah, it's just boring. It's not what people want to hear. Yeah, it's helpful, and yeah, I'll do something like that later on, but really they want to hear the tea. Let's be honest. You want to hear the tea. You want to hear the tea as to what's happening with us. And when I say you want to hear the tea, I'm really assuming in my mind that like 5, max 10 people are going to watch this, and that's okay. But I feel like at 46, I've got to the point where I maybe was quiet for too long, and I'd like to say a few things. So that's where we're at. We've started. We've redecorated the bedroom over the weekend for the first time in our new house. And I genuinely feel like I'm living in some kind of palace. It's really exciting to own your own house in a new country and to be able to do what you like in that house. And I will share bits about the home as we go through, and a few episodes for all those people that like to look at homes and what people are doing with it. But basically this vlog is going to be where I've come from, where I am, and where I'm going. But the best place to start really is just that little bit about me. So if you don't know me, if you're watching this and have never come across me before, funny fact first. Funny fact is that throughout my life, I am always the person that people meet and then they never remember. And like, I remember saying that to my husband one time and saying, all joking aside, when people meet me, they could meet me like 20 minutes later and they don't remember that they've met me. And it's a really odd thing, and it's happened so many times in my life that it really makes me laugh. And I remember coming from the culture that I came from, which was what's evangelical Christianity. I used to tell myself, I love that people do that. I love that people forget who I am after meeting me or working with me or any of those things. I love that, because really, they're not seeing me then. They're seeing Jesus. That's a load of crap. Really, what happened is that I'm really not that interesting. I'm really not. So I had somebody say that to me in a church environment. To say you're really not that interesting, and that's not one of the worst things that people have just said in passing to me to remind me who I'm not. And you'll probably get to hear a few of those over the years. But yeah, I remember that particular statement saying, yeah, I don't imagine you're going to be able to make yourself sound very interesting. And I remember being really devastated, because it was like an unprovoked slap in the bake, really. But it's one of those things that just kind of stays with you. And I think as the years went on, I was quite happy with that. I'm kind of thinking, I'm not interested. I don't need to be anything for anybody. And at 46, I really like the person that I am now. I very, very much like the person that I am now. And there was quite a few years that there was plenty of people trying to make me not like myself very much. And there definitely was times when I guess, I gotta be careful how I say this one, but there definitely was prolonged periods of time that took me to the point that made me wonder whether I should even be here. And I thought about that a few times. And a lot of therapy has helped. If you've never done therapy, and if you're a Christian out there, you're going to need therapy. That's just the fact here. You are going to need therapy at some point because there's a lot that's messed up. And you take, and I think this is most people, especially if you're really heavily involved in a church, you're going to take a hiding. If you're in a culture that stinks, you're going to take a hiding because the culture that has been created creates people that want to give you a hiding. That's probably the best way to put that. And if you don't know what a hiding is, in Northern Ireland, that's a beating. So you're going to get beat down. It's just going to happen. Especially if you're someone who likes to hope for the best and be a team player and let's go, let's do this. If you're one of those people, be aware, because it's not going to end well for you. I'm just saying. If you want to love Jesus, go and love Jesus, but go and love Jesus away from a church. I think that's probably the best way to say it. And if you've got a comment in that, I'm really happy for you to put it in the comments. I'm fine with it. This video, sometimes these episodes are going to sound like I'm complaining and moaning and what they're going to sound like, and I'm going to give you all the Christianese, is I am going to sound like I am bitter, that I have a root of bitterness, and nothing could be further from the truth. I will also say that it's going to sound like I have unforgiveness. These are all words that I was taught, that I knew, that I absolutely said about other people. I'm going to own everything that I know that I did wrong. I'm going to own all the stuff that I wish that I had never thought of and never believed and never repeated, because I believed this stuff. I have a runny nose. Oh, not upset, I just have a runny nose. Told you, one take. We're doing one take wonders, no matter what happens. I have no unforgiveness in my life. I don't think about those people. But what I do say, and I've always said this, and there's no escaping this fact, is that it doesn't matter what happened to you or who did what. What happens is that you're changed. You're different. It's the effects that it has on your soul. It's the effect that it has on your person. It's the effect that it has on your psyche. It's the effect that it has on your mental health. So it's not as easy as saying, oh, you just need to forgive them and move on. If it was as easy as that, I would have been able to move on without having medication and therapy and everything that I have had to do to get to the point where I am so happy in my life now. And it's been a really long 10 years to get to this point. But yeah, there is no unforgiveness. There is no bitterness. There is just a person and a soul that is me, and it's how I am now, and it's the person that I'm really happy to be. I've made lots of decisions as I've went into my 40s about like silly things like not dyeing my hair anymore. I haven't dyed my hair for 5 years. I just decided I'm really happy with who I am. Genuinely cannot be bothered. Could not be bothered dyeing my hair anymore. Really fed up with like the fact that women have to have like this hair that is a certain color to be accepted as people not letting themselves go, but men are silver foxes. I'll never understand that, but I'm not happy to just continue the way that I was, so I stopped dyeing my hair. I didn't burn any bras or anything like that. I just didn't want to dye my hair anymore, so I don't dye my hair. Greatest color I've ever had. I love it. I don't care if it makes me look older. I love it. I'm comfortable with it. I think I still look good. I'm okay with it. So that's just a silly thing that I've done in my 40s to take back decision making for my life. And that's what I like it comes down to things as simple as that. And if you're a woman in your 40s, if you've ever faced any kind of abuse, whether it's spiritual, whether it's SA, whether it is DV, whether it's any of those things, as women we feel this need to be able to take back some of the power that was taken from us, or in my case that I handed away. I handed my power away. I gave too much away because I felt a lot of guilt and shame about my past. So it was able to be used against me. So now I took that back. And it might be something as simple as colouring my hair, or not colouring my hair. Or it might be as simple as tattooing my body, which I now have a couple. I have another few planned. I will do that. But I remember the first tattoo that I got, I remember thinking it was for a particular reason at the time. Well, I'm trying to show you this one. It was this here on my wrist, and it says Jehovah Jireh, which is so ironic for my life now. But I got that tattoo after a medical issue with my son, and I don't regret getting it because I know what happened, and that I'm happy to have it on my arm for now. But I remember after getting my first tattoo, there was this sense of I'd just gone and scarred my body, because basically that's what you're doing. You're scarring your body. It's there. A needle is going into your skin. You can see blood. You're scarring your body, and there's nothing you can do to escape that. But I remember thinking, I feel so powerful being able to scar my body myself. And that's not talking about things like things that people do to themselves when they're struggling mentally, and that's not what I mean by that. But it was this purposeful moment of saying, I want to put something on my body that I have chosen to put there that could be called a scar, but I chose it because I felt so much that there was so much in my life and on my body that were scars that had been put there by other people, and I had no say in it. And I was so done with having scars put on my body by other people, whether they're mental or physical or spiritual. And so my thing was, I'm going to take back that little bit of my power as well, and I decide what scars go on my body. So those tattoos have been moments for me whenever I've been able to say, I have taken back a little bit of my power. I'm going to just put these on here. They're going to matter to me. I don't care what anybody else thinks about them, but for me, they're important. And yeah, that's the story of the tattoos. You're getting a little snippet of everything, really, up to this point. Yeah, so I have spent a lot of the last, specifically 5 years, just healing. It's probably the best way to put it. I hate all those words, but it is that. It's healing from trauma. It's healing from a breakdown 10 years ago that was forced on me through abuse in the workplace. It is, and healing from a breakdown is a lot. I just will say that. You feel like your heart's broken, but not just that, you feel like your soul's broken. And no matter how hard you try to build a life after it, and you do what you feel like you're supposed to do, it doesn't go away, and the body keeps the score. And for me, the body kept the score for a long time. There was a lot of my body being in fight or flight at all times. And if you've ever been, well, every human has had that emotion, but if you're constantly functioning at a level of fight or flight, it affects every part of your body. And yeah, it came to the point where that trauma, that breakdown, that rejection all of those things, no matter how much I tried to build on top of it, no matter what I did in my business life, no matter what I tried to do, I couldn't just build on this kind of not even shaky ground, this broken ground. And I tried for 5 years. I really tried, and I was very quiet, because it was devastating. But after those 5 years, and really when we started to hit COVID, and the world kind of changes, and nothing feels the same, and life starts to become something that you're looking at thinking, I can't live forever like this. I've got to at least try to figure out what's happening here. And so I did. I started to get therapy. Best decision that I ever made. And I remember my first therapy session the night before. At this time, I still would have classed myself as a Christian, and I'll use the word Christian when I'm talking about it negatively, because I think there's a difference between people who genuinely follow Jesus and people who call themselves Christians. And I'll talk about this over and over, and you can comment what you want, and you can say what you want. It makes no odds to me. But I would have still classed myself as, for me, I loved Jesus and I just wanted to follow him, but I was really struggling to understand everything, because I could not put together what had happened with who Jesus was or who the church was. And this was a juxtaposition that nobody wants to be in, and I know for a fact that so many people have been in, are in. I've heard enough podcasts, I've read enough books, I've heard enough stories. I continue to have stories sent to me. That's devastating, and it should be devastating to the church. I don't think it is, but it should be. So yeah, the night before my first therapy session, I was so scared to go to this therapy session, because my fear was that I would make God look bad, because I was going to tell this girl, and I purposely went to someone who wasn't a Christian. I didn't need the Christianise. I didn't need because I genuinely believe that, and this is maybe unfair, and again, I don't care. Show me different. I am so willing to learn. I'm always willing to learn. I hope I'll always be teachable and willing to learn. Tell me different. But from experience and people that I had seen and people that I had known who were Christian counselors, there was always an agenda and a language that was used that is not healing, and it's not helpful for a human soul. And it's based around man's interpretation of scripture in trying to deal with a soul that really, it needs more than that. It needs more than that. That's all I'll say to that. So I didn't want any Christian counselors. I didn't want any of them anywhere near me at this point. And I found this incredible girl, and I went to her house. And the night before my first session with this therapist, I was so scared and I was devastated. The truth is, I was crying my lumps out. And I was saying to my husband, I am so scared that I'm going to go and I'm going to disappoint God, because I'm going to make his church look really bad. Now, I wasn't going to make it look bad because I didn't do it. But I was going to tell her a lot of stuff that had destroyed my soul, that made the church look really bad. And it does make the church look really bad because it was really bad. It wasn't okay. The behaviour, the cruelty, the rejection, none of it was okay. Those words are never okay, and every one of them happened plus more to me. So I remember sitting there, and I have felt God talk to me a few times in my life, and I remember sitting and thinking, I have to go and sit and tell this woman all this stuff, and what if she doesn't know Jesus, and what if she never gets to know Jesus because I'm telling her this stuff, and she goes, oh, I don't want to go anywhere near a church. So I put that all on me, and I thought, I was devastated. I thought, I'm not going to be able to tell her the full truth. What benefit is it for me to go to this place if I actually can't actually tell the truth? And I remember sitting, and I just heard in my soul, mind, I really don't know how to explain it to you. I don't need you to defend me. And I don't know if that was God. I genuinely don't know anymore, because I don't like to attribute a lot of my life to that. But I remember in that moment thinking, I think it's okay. I think it's okay for me to tell the truth. And it was okay for me to tell the truth. It was really okay for me to tell the truth. And I sat with that girl, and the pain and the brokenness and everything in those hours that I spent with her was so healing, because I sat with someone who had no agenda. They had no reason to turn me into anything that they wanted me to be. They had no reason to make me believe something or say something that added shame and guilt onto me as a Christian at the time. Oh, there. I had to cut. Somebody phoned. Yeah, so I had no expectation to be anything other than myself with this girl. And she allowed me to come in, and I remember the first thing that she said to me was, you can relax your shoulders. And she said, I notice, and this was maybe the second time that I was actually in, she says, I notice that when you come in, your shoulders are up here. They weren't relaxed. They were kind of up here. And that's the fight or flight. That's your body always being in a sense of trauma, because you don't know what's coming next. You don't know what kind of attack you're going to face, or so whether I liked it or not, my body was keeping the score of all those years, and it was getting to the point where I just could not handle that anymore. So yeah, I had quite a few sessions with that therapist, and I felt like I was doing really well. And then my anxiety came back again, pretty intense, where it was constant. I constantly was having anxiety about everything. It wasn't depression. It was a horrendous, horrible feeling all of the time that you just weren't safe, and that you had to keep yourself safe, and that you had to keep your family safe, and to function at that level for years, yeah, it wrecks you. So I ended up, after seeing that therapist, going to the doctor and saying, listen, I have never taken medication. It's not something that I ever wanted to take. I, again, devastated on the phone with the doctor. Why? Because in my brain, I'm thinking, I'm supposed to just do this with God. Taking medication for anxiety is weakness, and it's fear, not faith. Absolute crap. Can I just say that? If you've ever been told that needing medication to handle something that your body is keeping a score of, that now has affected your brain chemistry, where you're constantly in a state of anxiety. See, if somebody tells you that all you need is more faith, if somebody tells you that you need to have faith over the fear and the anxiety, they're talking absolute crap. Yes, God may be with you in it, but you're going to need help sometimes, and that's why these things are in place for us. So yeah, I sat crying on the phone with the doctor. I can't believe I don't want to take medication. I don't want to do this. I want to be able to manage this myself. I want to be a good Christian. That's on me. That's all my thinking, that I had obviously had thingied into me, that's how you're supposed to deal with things. So if you don't have faith, then anyway, I ended up getting anxiety medication. It absolutely wiped me out for 2 weeks. I think I slept for 2 weeks. And then I very slowly started to get my life back again, because that fight or flight was it's kind of put where it should be, which is not fully, I will add. I am very into making sure that I'm aware of my surroundings, that my kids are safe, all of those things. I think that's just part of my personality, but this was not how I had been living for such a long time. So long story short, it is a long story. Long story short, the medication changed my life. It didn't change my life, it gave me my life back. It gave me my everyday back. It gave me the ability to want to leave maybe the house, and I hadn't really left the house for probably 10 years. And that sounds dramatic. I don't mean I'd never left the house, but I made no plans to do anything. I didn't want to make plans to do anything or go anywhere. I didn't like to go out and go anywhere. I still don't. I'm an introvert. I love my own space. I love being in my own home. Yes, some of it has to do with the fact that I don't really want to see or get to know people. So sad, isn't it? Isn't that so sad? I'm not sad. I have people that are friends like I have never known. One of them is in France and I adore her. I have people that have been in my life for over 40 years who are just my people. I have my family who are the most important to me, my immediate and my extended family, and they're the people that I talk to every day. I keep things small because I made really bad friendship choices over the last, well, I suppose it's not 20 years now, for 20 years, let's say for 20 years, I made really, really, really crappy friendship choices. How many YouTube channels do you know where somebody wipes their nose? They're wiping their nose of mine. Yeah, so I made crappy friend choices that if I could go back and do it again, I would never have had them anywhere near me. Oh, so many stories. I don't even know really where to start with that. I'm a simple kind of person. See, if I'm your friend, I will adore you. I will be loyal to you. I will be there. But I didn't pick people the same way. And that's on me. Again, that's on me. One of the most difficult things that you will ever learn is that the person that you adored and loved and wanted to be their friend, they didn't really care about you and they were not thinking the same way. That's one of the most difficult things that you'll ever learn. And when you get to 46, you're over that kind of crap and you're just kind of thinking to yourself, do you know what? I'm okay. My circle is small. I'm okay with my circle being small. Yeah, so my goodness, we have hit the end of the first episode of Trudy Talks. I'm going to talk about lots of different things. But here's the thing. I'm going to just come on and talk. It might interest you. It might not. Nobody's going to make you nobody's going to make you watch it. Nobody's going to make you subscribe. I watch so much YouTube, but this is what you're going to get with me. I will talk about lots of different things. I'll talk about things in America. I will talk about the things that affect us here in America. I will talk about family. I will talk about my home. I will talk about my garden because I really, really love gardening, and that's a really good thing for my mind. I will talk about all the things that I love to do. And I'll tell you about the things that I used to do that I don't do anymore. That's maybe a little bit interesting. I don't know. Maybe you're interested, maybe you're not. So thank you so much for tuning in to Trudy Talks. If you want, you can subscribe. You can hit the bell so that you don't miss any episodes that come out. I hope to drop one of these once a week. But until then, let's chat next week. Have a good day. Bye.